words about one of my fondest memories with my dad. Might not be the happiest of memories, but I still like to share it with you. It was summer of 6th grade. I was taking swimming lessons, and I decided to go to a swim meet, a swim tournament. And my dad took me there. And I warmed up, was feeling good. And when it was getting closer to my time slot, I started getting very nervous and scared. Looking at everyone, everyone was much faster than I thought it would be. So I told my dad that I wanted to go home. I did want to be there. Alright, let's just go home. You don't have to be here. All my life, you see movies, you have coaches that they would just tell you to keep going, you can do it. At that time, I was just too scared. I didn't want to be there. I had a father that supported me regardless of who I am or what I wanted to do. In my deepest fears, he was always there to protect me, to understand me. For the past few days, I've talked to many of you. And every time we talk to my father, we always say how compassionate he is and how much he understands. So, I'm making a promise to my father that I'll always be compassionate to everyone. Try my best to understand everyone. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. As we know, my dad loves to fish. A couple of years ago, we took a trip to Alaska. Dad, Tom, Michael, and I went fishing at this river. You could see all the fish there. It was just salmon. It was just filled with salmon. He was so happy to see it. He loved fishing. So at one point, Michael, he hooked the fish. It was like a 4-foot salmon. It was just huge, and it was gray. Brother couldn't reel it in because it was so heavy. And then at one point, my dad was saying, "It's a rock. You snap on a rock. What are you doing?" And then my brother and I were saying, "No, it's a fish. It's a fish." And we were having a little argument, saying it's a rock. It's a fish. And eventually, fish, it finally actually felt the hook, and it went wild. It like jumped out of the water, 5 feet in the air, and my dad was screaming, oh, he was so happy, like just to see the fish, even though we didn't catch it. He was laughing. And later that day, he caught a fish, and he was just so happy. This is to you, Dad. I'm gonna make a product and sell it to people just like you.
My name is Stephanie, and I am his goddaughter. So, I know some of you are wondering, who's that girl up there? Like, did he have another kid and nobody knew? It's like, no, I'm his goddaughter. And when I was 6, what I really wanted for my birthday was a Barbie Jeep, the one that you could drive yourself. I thought that was really cool. But Mom and Dad, they got me 2 textbooks. They were the world's greatest questions and answers. So I looked at them and I asked them, well, why did you get me this book? Because I was only 6. I could barely read. And Daddy said, because we love you. We care about your education. And we want to challenge you. So I went home and I put the book away, and it was maybe about a year later that I found it. And I opened it and I started to read it. And it was a wonderful book. There were so many questions and so many answers, like why the grass is green and why the sky is blue. And that book, to me, represents how much he cared about me, how much they both do. He loved me, and he wanted me to be the smartest kid ever. And now, I find myself a very curious person. I always ask questions, and I always want to know the answer. So when Daddy passed, of course, I asked, why? How did this happen? But, the book reminds me that life is full of challenges. And this is Daddy's last challenge for me, is to rise above the sadness and remember that today we are here to celebrate his life and his accomplishments and the love he instilled in all of us. So I promise to live my life to the fullest. To make decisions that scare me. And to love life as if it were my last. Thank you.
Pháp Phật calcium vào nhiều, cơ duyên may được thọ trì, xin nguyện đi vào vĩnh tuệ, tinh thông giáo nghĩa huyền vi. Xin chư vị cùng lắng lòng để nghe lời Kinh Phật dạy về quy luật tử sinh vô thường và lời tụng